Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very honored and privileged to be asked to speak in front of this distinguished forum. And I hope that when I'm finished, what I've said will lead to some changes, and hopefully there's something good that comes out of it. At the same time, if you hear any knocking, it's my knees, because I'm extremely nervous at this stage. We're going to speak about correct supervision from the Shibos. The first point is knowledge due to correct grounding. As you heard, I started as a night shift cleaner. I was very fortunate because at that stage at Buffelsfontein Gold Mine, it didn't matter who you were when you came out of the GMTC. Your first job was night shift. And the feeling behind that was that if you struggled on night shift, you would speak to the day shift miner and you would find out why you're struggling, and we've been speaking about burdens, fragmentation and everything else. And if the fragmentation and burdens weren't right, you really struggled to clean. If you proved your weight as a night shift cleaner, you would then be sent day shift. But when you went day shift, you weren't given a contract, you started as an equipper. And you had to prove your weight as an equipper to be able to get advancement and achieve. You proved your weight as an equipper. You were then given a panel under the mentorship of an old experienced miner. Even though you had a blasting certificate and you were employed as a miner, you still worked for a miner who had experience. And he taught you what you must do. If you were fortunate and you had a nice guy that you worked for, he would give you a little percentage of the bonus that came from that panel. If you didn't do your job, you didn't get any money. So you made sure that you listened and you tried to absorb everything that you could from the old miners. I think that is one of the points that has really changed. When I started in the mines, the older guys took the younger guys and they taught them what to do. They transferred their experience and their knowledge. And somehow that's lost and we haven't got it anymore. If we speak about attitude of learning, where I am now in the training center, I try and pass my experience on to colleagues and to people who I see are struggling. And a lot of time you get kicked in the face. People just don't want to accept the experience and the knowledge that you try and give them. There are various reasons for it, but I think that is one of the things that we have to try and change. You heard I was a stoker for 11 years. Guys, when I started in a mine, as a miner, you looked up at the shibboss and you thought to yourself, man, I want to get there one day, and I want to be a shibboss. The shibboss was really an honorable profession and something that you really wanted to do. Luckily, like I say, before I became a shibboss, I had the grounding. Pride, something that is totally lost in the industry. From a layman's point of view, I can't speak as a GM, but the pride is gone. People don't have pride in their working places anymore. I remember when I became a shibboss, the best thing that you could do was to go for 6 or 7 months without your mine captain having to come and visit you, because the mine captains only visited people that they needed to visit. Speak about planning and working to standard. Now I'm just going to relate some of my personal experiences. Very early on in my mining career, I had to open up a place that had burnt. You know, the whole stope had burnt out. And we started by developing 8 wide raises in the place. I had a general manager, Mike Richter, who came down to come in and see what I was doing, or see what we were doing. And as you spent a lot of time polishing and painting everything so that the manager would be impressed. He walked into the first dry gully. The gullies were about 70 meters in. He looked at the 2 wide raises that we were blasting, walked out, went to the second one, walked the 60 or 70 meters in, looked at the 2 wide raises, and there from on he just carried on down the center gully, got to the tip, looked into the gully and walked past it. By the time he walked past the third one, I said to him, "Gee, sir, we spent a lot of time preparing for you. Aren't you going to go and look what we're doing on the face?" His answer to me was, "If I can stand at the tip and I can see your machine driller 60 or 70 meters away in the gully. I don't need to go into that face to go and see what's happening. Center gullies, my ethos was the day after measuring day, gully winch driver would remove his scraper from the gully, put it into his portion of the center gully, and ensure that his center gully is cleaned every month. The reason for this being, we've all been speaking about pride. When guys walk into a center gully or workers arrive, they don't have to crawl down the center gully. They can walk upright and they look, the places are neat. By the time he gets into the face, he wants to do the same. He wants to ensure that the same quality that is in the center gully is in his face as well. Equipment and services, we've all been speaking about drilling and blasting, or drilling, charging up and blasting. And yes, the machine drillers are the start of everything. But if we don't, as ship bosses and as supervisors, provide them with the equipment and ensure that the services are kept up to standard, they will never drill according to the way we want them to drill. If you haven't got compressed air, if your pipes are 80 meters away from the face, you have to use 3 hoses to get to the face, you're just not going to get effective production. Support to be installed timeously. What am I saying? You can drill and blast, you can have the best drilling and blasting practices. But if you don't install your support at the correct time, everything that you've done in your drilling process is going to fail. I can remember when I started in the mine, the support distance was from your face to the last line of support was 5 meters. And then we'd come in as a miner, have a look at the hanging wall and say, geez, I need to put in a line of packs today, but things aren't in place. Hanging wall looks competent, let's blast it again. So we used to blast it again and the face is 6 meters open. But then you would say to your guys, hey, listen, remember, tomorrow morning, make sure that the support is installed before the showboss arrives. You think you're fooling the showboss, but you're actually fooling yourself. Because at that stage, we all know that a rock consists of different layers, and if those layers have pulled open, no matter how much pre-stressing, no matter how much you try to support, you can't push those layers back together. The damage has already been done. Attention to drilling marking practice. Marking and drilling discipline. Once again, I go back to the grounding. For you to be able to ensure that correct marking and drilling is taking place, correct drilling and charging up is taking place, you have to know yourself what to do. Because if something is being done wrong, you have to do on-the-job coaching to correct it. And if you haven't done the job, how do you do on-the-job coaching? When I was a show boss, I've still got it, this went everywhere with me. Every single hole that was drilled, I would put it into the hole, I would check the direction, I would check the depth, and I had a secret. I worked with sweets. I used to go underground every day with a squam full of sweets, 30 or 40 sweets. If I got to a driller and I checked his holes and he drilled in the right direction, the holes went to the right depth, checked yesterday's sockets, no sockets or very short sockets, then he would get rewarded with a sweet. And it is amazing how this worked. I got to a stage eventually where I came down the panel one day, the guy had started collaring the hole, it was in the wrong direction, he'd withdrawn his jumper, taken a rock, put it in, knocked the hole closed himself. And when I got there, he said to me, "Wena buka, mina longisile, you put a sweet coming." Created a problem. When I wasn't at work and somebody had to take my place and they went through the panels, then the guys would ask him where the sweet, and they never had sweets. So yeah. When we speak about the use of stemming, and it's a problem that in the training that I'm doing now, we find it's an inherent problem. Guys just do not use tamping. There's a fallacy that the more explosives you put in the hole, the better it's going to break and the more effective it's going to be. We all know that then we're really ruining the fragmentation, we're damaging the hanging, we're making things worse, but it is something that's happening every single day. What am I trying to say? As a showboss, you must be visible And you must be in your working places every single day. There's not a day that you cannot afford to go through your working places. We speak about managing people, and I think this is one of the more important aspects that we don't speak about, although it has been alluded to today. We're speaking specifically about RDOs. When I used to have early morning meetings, and I spoke to my RDOs, I used to ask these guys, if you go to the doctor and he makes a mistake, what happens to you? They say to me, well, then we die. I say, if you go to court and your lawyer is not prepared, what happens to you? They say, well, then we go to jail. I say to them, but guys, doctors and lawyers are professional people. You as RDOs are professional people as well. If you make a mistake in the face, somebody is going to die or somebody is going to get badly injured. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but there is some time that somebody is going to get injured. You must consider yourself an RDO as a professional. And I always got asked the question, Mandev, you say we're professionals, but where's the payment? And I used to say, well, I'm just a shawasha. I can't change your pay. We can try and enforce this and make sure that you make good bonus. Just to back up a little bit of what we've been saying and showing that, and it's an effective way to do things. We're going to have a little bit of production results. This is from 2007, 2008, which was the last year that I was on stoping. Those were my calls for the year. Average call was about 2,300, 2,800, 2,900 centaurs. Those were the square meters achieved for the year. That was the sweepings achieved for the year. If you look at the stone faces, this is one panel that I managed to get off Cat's Mine. You can see the face length was 47 meters, and those were the average advances. Just another one, 2 panels. No fades lengths here, but I can remember that panel was about 50 meters long and this panel about 38 meters long. And those are the face advances we got in the panels. We were shooting between 700 and 800 centaurs on a panel. We look at a little bit at productivity data. This is average face advance for the year. You can see we're running at about 15 meters for the year. That is average square meters per employee, and we were averaging at that stage about 34 to 35 centaurs per man. Safety performances, we had no fatal accidents in the section, no serious injuries in the section for a whole year. There's we still had a bit of beer, that's just receiving the Shibos of the Year award from Frit Fourie. And there's Mr. Turner when he still had a bit of hair. I also had some hair then. That was from 1995, just to enforce that safety is not something that happens periodically. It's something that you must take into your life and you have to apply it every day. Rewards not only received for stoping, this was for 1,000 meters linear achieved for 6 consecutive months in developing. Only 4 shibosses in the section. This was only achievable because of pride, experience, and a positive worth ethic. Knowledge equals proper on-the-job coaching. Relationships. There you can see I arrived and one of the drillers had drilled off line. Instead of just shouting at him and screaming at him, I actually used to take the machine and I used to drill a couple of holes to show the guy what direction I want and how I want the hole drilled. If you look at the hanging wall and you look at the direction of the jumper, you can see that we're busy teaching the guy how he must drill. And that's just another picture. The hole has been collared and now we're busy drilling the hole. You can see where we are. stoping width about 90 centimeters. There's that panel, if you mind correctly, supported store timelessly, sweepings on the face, and hopefully we can get to a point where all our panels are like this. Is it possible to replicate this across the industry? I would hope yes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.